waking up one morning to find the impossible has happened. Every ocean, every sea, every drop of salt water on Earth has turned into fresh water. No waves of salt, no sting in the air, just pure drinkable water stretching to the horizon. Sounds like paradise, right? But what if this miracle was actually a global disaster in disguise? This is what if all seawater suddenly turns into fresh water. A deep dive into the environmental science, marine life, and the fragile balance that keeps our planet alive. We'll explore what happens if the salt that shapes our world suddenly disappears, and why life on Earth might not survive without it. Let's start at the very beginning, about 3.8 billion years ago. Earth's surface cooled just enough for vapor to become liquid. Back then, our seawater was fresh. No salt, no minerals, just pure water born from the clouds. But when rain began to fall, it mixed with carbon dioxide in the air, creating a weak acid. This slightly acidic rain hit rocks, broke them down, and carried tiny bits of salt and minerals into rivers and streams. Over millions of years, those minerals flowed into the ocean, creating the salt water we know today. Add to that the minerals from hydrothermal vents and undersea volcanoes, and you get an endless supply of salt that's been building up for billions of years. Today, our oceans hold 97% of all Earth's water. And if you spread all that salt evenly across the land, it would form a layer 130 feet tall, a 40-story wall of salt wrapping the planet. Now imagine that salt suddenly vanishing. At first, it feels like a dream. Endless drinking water, no more water scarcity, no more expensive desalination of water. But within days, everything changes. Marine creatures, from tiny plankton to giant whales, rely on salt to survive. Their cells, their chemistry, even their buoyancy depend on it. Without salt, nearly every species in the marine ecosystem would die. And when the algae die, the very ones that produce half of the oxygen we breathe, the air itself becomes toxic. And that's not all. The salt in seawater helps regulate density. It drives the great ocean currents that move heat around the planet. Without it, the system collapses. The poles would freeze into massive ice sheets. The equator would burn under relentless heat. The climate change we fear today would seem gentle compared to this chaos. Without stable ocean currents, rainfall patterns would shift. The water cycle would break down. Crops would fail. Ecosystems would collapse, and soon, humanity would be gasping for survival in a world that no longer knows balance. The truth is, salt is not the enemy. It's the quiet architect of life. It shapes freshwater ecosystems, drives ecological impact, and sustains the delicate chemistry that keeps our planet breathing. So, when you stand by the ocean, remember, every wave carries more than water. It carries history, balance, and the blueprint of life itself. Our environmental science and earth science remind us that balance is everything. Because if the oceans ever turned to fresh water, pause. Our beautiful blue planet would no longer be the same. This is What If All Seawater Suddenly Turns into Fresh Water? A story of wonder, danger, and the fragile miracle we call home.